Good afternoon, everybody. It is Leah and Ryan from feathersleepigeonauctions.com. A little bit late, but better late than never. Take it away, Ryan.
Hey, we may be a little late, but our birds are always early, Leah, and that's the secret. That's the secret to everything that we do. This is what is this? Take two, take three, take four. It doesn't matter. We've got the man with us today, Dan Gregoruk from Thunder Bay. Okay, this man, he's a killer in futurity races, band races, uh, one loft races. Hell, he'll win even a potato sack race if you ask him to. The man has the pigeons, again, like Ioannis Saints from Texas. When the money is on the line, that's the 3 and the 400-mile races. The birds come in and the birds win the money. He's been doing it since well into the early 2000s, right up till now. The man comes out with results, always up at the top. Again, he's had the Gulf Coast Classic win, the IF, the AU, the Midwest. It doesn't matter. His birds win. And not only do they win for Dan, but in all these races and in multi-loft races, Dan sends the birds. Each man bakes the cake differently. The same ingredient as his birds. And that ingredient takes him to the top. These guys can get his birds to fire. Again, we're going to look at these 10 lots. The quality of the birds is awesome. We're going to get into it with Dan here in a little bit about these 10 lots, but we want to talk to Dan. Dan, I'm going to welcome you onto the show. Thanks for tuning in.
Yes, awesome. Thank you.
Thank you. I see you're in a lovely wood cabin. I told you he's way up north. He's about 1,000,000 miles away from civilization, but that's okay. He's got the right pigeons.
Cabin in the woods, that's for sure. It's my father's house, so where I grew up, and I keep the birds here. So
very good. So
welcome to the show, Dan. We want to thank you for bringing us these 10 amazing lots that are currently on offer. Where do you go to bid? feathersleepigeonauctions.com. For those of us who don't know you or don't know of you or your race record or how you started, why don't you inform our viewers a little bit about yourself, how long you've been in it, and just a little bit about your racing history?
Absolutely. I started with the birds when I was around 11 years old. So that gives me 40 plus years already in the pigeon sport. My father and I kind of started together, and obviously when I was young, he was the master of the whole thing, and he did all the teaching. He was a school principal himself, so very, very intelligent man that really did a lot of studying when it came to flying. And then we joined the Thunder Bay Racing Pigeon Club, and at that time we had 14, 15 real good quality racers, and I learned the craft with my father here against the guys here. We've had some some nationally ranked guys and some real phenomenal competition here over the years. So it made me a better flyer, and it made me able to go out into the one loft type convention type area and test my birds that way. And obviously over the years we've had a lot of success. So, but the roots are here in Thunder Bay. We had a lot of good guys that I flew against, and some real good guys that are still around.
Yeah, and also learning your craft. You went. At what point did you and your father look into purchasing pigeons, and what were you thinking about when you were purchasing those pigeons, and what made you choose certain pigeons? Because I know you really enjoy those different pigeons, and let's get a little rundown on sort of that adventure.
We started like everybody. We started with local pigeons, and then we branched out. John Marles there, that's from your area. He supplied us with some good birds over the years. Then we went into the States and purchased the Mulemans from Horst Hackemer. We bought them in the early 80s. Matter of fact, we were the first guys to buy in Canada from Horst. We got them the year after he imported them. We flew them very successfully here, but we just found that once it got a little longer and a little tougher, they couldn't take it. They weren't as good. So we kind of branched out. We touched base with Campbell Strange in the late 80s. And, he recommended that we try a couple of the Devrents. And to be honest with you, at the beginning, they weren't doing so hot. They weren't winning, the hundreds and the 200s. It was still kind of the old family that was dominating around here. And then we started to branch out a little bit further with them and fly them in old birds, and there was some crazy results. We were getting day birds from 400 and 500 miles when nobody else even would get a day bird, and then we started to take them. I became real good friends with Antoine Jacobs from Belgium, and he was one of the fellows that told me, I wanted to do better in the multi-loft races and the one-loft race type situations, and him and I happened to go out for dinner one night, and we talked till about 4 o'clock in the morning about how I could possibly get better at it. And his first recommendation was, how far do you fly your young ones? And I said, well, we only fly them about 250 miles, and that was kind of how the schedule was here, and that's what we did. So he said, take those birds, your whole young bird team, and take them to 400 miles, and then see what you have. So we did that, and once we started taking them to 400 miles, I'd get 8 or 9 or 10 DeVrents home before I got anything else. So that it was a very quick observation, and immediately we figured that, okay, this is the route we have to take. And I mean, like when we purchased birds from Campbell, I mean, we bought off all of them. We bought off the Super 73s, the Grand Delars, anything that he had, I bought. And Campbell was great with me. I'd buy a couple of birds. I'd buy 4 or 5 birds from him, and I'd have a $4,000 bill, and he'd let me pay it off throughout the year. So I'd give him so much a month, but he always said, get the DeVrents, get the DeVrents, get the DeVrents, and we listened, and they just beat everything. So it was a no-brainer. We got rid of everything else and kind of concentrated on the DeVrents and mixed them in with families here and there. And then when he had his final sale in '99, I gave him a call and I said, Campbell, I'd like to buy a couple of the bigger name birds. I had a little bit of money saved up, and he said, don't fool around with the big name birds. He says, you know what to buy. Stick with the DeVrents. He told me which 3 that he definitely said that I should buy. There was 3 or 4 of them there. And one was the son of the Rapide, and the other one was a hen 5622. She was a daughter of Mr. Magoo. And then I purchased the 301 hen, which was off the Wonderclock. So, and that kind of made up the base of our family with some of the DeVrents that we'd already purchased. We had a couple of daughters of Striker and a couple other sons and daughters of Magoo, and we just spread around them and mixed it in with the Rapide, and now basically the whole line is Rapide, Magoo, and Striker. So and that, I mean, you're already going back a lot of years. It's been generations already, and they keep performing, they keep doing well, throw a cross into them. They're getting a little inbred now. I like to throw a little cross into them every now and again. So that's basically what's going to happen, and we'll move forward with them and just bring in a few other birds just to complement them.
Right. And here's just a quick question. When you took your youngsters or young birds, it was young birds, I take it, out to 400 miles, you were only taking them at that point, what, to about 250 or 300? What were you taking them?
About 247, actually, right to my house, 247 miles.
Right. And when you stretched them out to 400 miles, how many hours were they on the wing, those birds, when you were starting to get them? How many hours would it take them to do it?
Well, it would usually be 8+, 8 to 10 hours sometimes.
And that's a total different mind frame of a pigeon. I find a lot of younger pigeons or young birds, they can handle the 6 and the 7 hours is okay. A lot of them will do it 6, 7 hours, no problem. That's not the break. But I notice when pigeons hit 8, 9, 10 hours on the wing, young pigeons, it's not, I don't think that they physically can't do it. I think it's something in the mind.
No, it's too taxing for them. They're not used to anything like that. It takes a special bird to do that. And the bird that does that 400 miles, he doesn't give up. And
no.
Find a bird that doesn't give up, it's a special pigeon. Those are the ones you breed off of.
Right. And I know, I think it was last year in 2000, was it made last year, 2019, I believe you won the Big Andy 400 mile.
Yeah, absolutely.
Race. And I think that was, again, about a 9-hour race, wasn't it?
Yeah, it was 450 some odd miles. So I think there was 3 on the drop. myself, Frank McLaughlin, and one of the birds from the guy that runs the Hoosier, and I mean, they put out a hell of a performance. But like I said, that's the Brent base, and they can keep going. They can keep going and keep going and keep going. We're very very fortunate to what we were allowed to accomplish with those birds for sure.
Right.
I'm
Now,
just going to interject here. I do have a question. I want to thank everybody for tuning in. We've got lots of people giving you a shout out, Dan, and we have a question from Neil Gonzalez. Neil says, "Hi, Dan. What is your connection or link to the GHC, Unit 10, and Florida? Are the birds and racing program a big difference?"
Well, I was fortunate over the years, to spend a lot of time in Florida. My parents had a little place there, and I'd always drive up to the GHC, and I started visiting Dan Van Lake first, and some of the other fellas, and I really became friendly with a lot of them. I became friendly with the Lorifus family, and then I decided that I'd like to, send some birds there. And when we started off first, I mean, I wasn't sending the right birds. I even sent the Durants, but they just weren't fast enough. So I had to do some crossing. And when I started to cross them in with the Wonder Pigeons from Campbell and some of the Newmans and some of the other stuff that we had here, then they really started to hit. And of course, we won the Gulf Coast in 2005. But um, what happened was when you become a winner like that, it just I don't know, it gives you almost a different feel when you go down there. People will accept your birds, and they'll show you a few things, and they'll want to be friends, and it just opens a lot of doors. So one of the fellows down there asked me if I'd be interested in partnering up and sending a few birds to his loft, and then coming down and helping him fly. He was a little older fella.
Mm-hmm.
So I went there for 3-4 years, and we flew some races, and we had a lot of success. We won the $50 band race in the GHC. We did very well in the classic races, in the auction races, the band races. We won the challenge race there, first and second, and so we, getting back to what the question was, is there a different type of bird? I believe that there is. I wouldn't want to send birds down there to the GHC that can't compete in some quicker competition.
Mm-hmm.
And just to give you an example, in 2006, I sent all the stuff that I would send to the Gulf Coast. I sent to California, the San Diego Classic type races, and the first probably, I don't know, 200 up to 200 250 miles, there was nobody that was catching me. I was like really doing well. I was right up there the average speed types and points and all that kind of stuff, or however they had it at the time.
Yeah.
But then when it came to the final, I mean, we had $1,000 pools, and I was betting my birds in the $1,000 pool. And when it came to the final, it was like, there was only like 8 or 10 day birds or 12 day birds. Well, I didn't get a day bird. They just weren't tough enough.
Yeah.
So I had to revert back to, when I was sending around to some of these races, you have to really be cognizant of where you're shipping, what kind of speeds they have, what kind of races they have. And that taught me a lot. And I remember talking with the Jones boys there, and they were like, "You got to send the tough ones here." And I didn't. I sent the birds that could fly fast, and they didn't do it. So that just opened up my eyes to where and how and what to send, and do a lot more research on what the speeds were like, what the winds were like, what type of training the handlers did, what type of training the one-loft races did, and then that kind of helps me make my decision when I want to send a few birds away.
So that leads me to my next question, because you do enter quite a few of the one loft races, convention style races. And I'll ask you the same question that I asked Joannie, since that's what you specialize in. What is your selection process in picking what one loft races you're going to enter and what convention races? What is your criteria?
Well, the first thing is, and I don't want this to sound arrogant or anything like that, but I really want to win the AU convention. I've been chasing that race for years, since '89, and I've sent every year. I've had multiple, birds that have scored in the top 10, and I've come very close a couple different times. A bird in Utah that came way out in front, 4 or 5 minutes to trap, and ended up in 6th or 7th position. And I was lucky enough to get second in in Chicago. But so that's one race that I make sure that I send to every year. So that becomes where are they going to be flying, what kind of course they're flying, what kind of distance they're flying, and that will tell me what kind of bird I want to send. The bird that I sent that came second in Chicago was off the speed pigeons. The race was about a 1,500-yard race. And I talked to my handlers, and they said, at that time of the year, you can get some quicker races. So I sent some faster birds. Now, a year or two before that, we sent to Arizona. Talked to my handlers again, and they said it's going to be a tough one. So I took one of the Devrents, and we crossed it on a Devrent Van Loon, and that's the bird that came third. So, you just kind of look where you're going to send and talk to your handlers and look at the speeds and look at how the people train and how the one loft race trains. And then that's got to dictate what kind of pigeons you send to what races.
And on average, how many one lofts and convention races, just on average, are you sending to per season?
I don't actually, surprisingly enough, I don't send to a real lot of races because I don't have a ton of birds.
Right.
So, and of course, getting them across the border has become harder and harder. I do have, some real close friends in the state of Wisconsin that I send a lot of my really good quality breeders to. Unfortunately, my best all time buddy in the pigeons, Fred Pieper, passed away there last year, 5 days after my father, or 5 days before my father. So I lost a real good, friend and mentor and confidant, and guy, do all this stuff, the pigeon stuff with. So we send a couple together, and then I send myself. I try to support the Canadian races as much as I can. And then, like I say, I chase that one loft, that AU convention race. I chase that all across the country, wherever it is. I try to go every year. And then I'll hit, I have a lot of friends down in the States, and I'll hit, when one of the boys call me up and say, send a couple birds, I try to accommodate and send something. So, maybe 5 or 6 races all together per year.
Also, just another question. Dan, when you're looking to send birds to a convention race,
right?
It's multiple different handlers. So what do you look for in a handler?
Well, when I look for the handlers, I try to spread my birds out. Like if I can get 3 guys to handle my pigeons and I can give them, say, 2 birds each. I like to get a guy that's in the short end for sure. I like to get a guy that's in the long end, and then the best handler I can find in between the guys. And it's either one or the other is going to win. You're either going to win in the short end or you're going to win in the long end. It just depends on the day, right? So I try to spread them out that way, and then I get a good feel with the guys that I ship to, and now I know a lot of the guys, so I know who are the kind of the better handlers and who are the guys that are going to work the birds, and then I'll just give them a call and ask them, what's your plan? What's your plan for this season? Are you flying darkening? Are you flying them mated? Are you flying them? Are you flying them separated the sexes? And then I know some of the pairs that I have, especially my speed type birds, they need to be worked a little bit harder, but they fly phenomenally when they're paired or mated. And I just ask the guys, are you going to pair them up? Are you going to mate them up? And then that's how I decide who I'm going to send what birds to. And
right.
I've been very fortunate. It's worked out very well so far.
So yeah, it's not about just sending them out there and put them on rotation. You're doing the research. You're talking to some of the handlers, and you make your decisions on how they're going to play with those birds.
Absolutely. And you know what? You can't leave it till you can't leave it till April and start calling the guys to figure out where you're going to put your birds. If you're going to send to the like I say, to the AU convention, you better have your handlers all in line as soon as you see that ad coming out, or if you know where they're going to be, you get on the phone and you start you start making some calls, and I'm very fortunate. Some of the guys have called me, so it's been a no-brainer. It's been a win-win for both of us. So, but you got to do your definitely.
And not only do you send out to one lofts and conventions, but the birds that you have at home, it's my understanding that you work those as well, correct?
Oh, absolutely. I do. I work them extremely hard. I don't fool around with them here. And, I do tons and tons of training. We only have a couple guys that are left that are flying, but next year it looks like we got a few more My good friend Brian Gavora is gonna get back on board, and Cam Van Troba. They're all gonna fly. So we should have about 5 guys next year, which is gonna be fun. But
Oh, good
I
for
train.
you. That's exciting. Good
Yeah,
job.
yeah, it's really good. We got a good little group here. It's just there's been a few years where they've had to step back for personal reasons, and now we're kind of getting back together again. And but I mean, and I go a couple different directions. I train them from the north right away, and then I start taking them more to the northwest, and then I kind of go southwest, and I try not to worry about the day. Like if I on my 4 days off, I try to get them down the road to the destination where we want to go. If it's 200 miles, I have 4 days to get them to 200 miles. So I'll pick the best day. But if there's not a good day, I still try to get them down there. And if it's an east wind and it's a little bit of sloppy weather, like we had a real bad one this year from 200 miles, and it was. We started on the way home. We started back, and went about 25 miles, and then all of a sudden we got into a rainstorm. So those birds had to really, really work. And the guys lost a lot of birds, but the ones that came through, I had the 3 birds that came 5 or 10 minutes in front, and they just worked, and they did it, and the other ones made it home. But you lose a few birds, but you got to test them. If you don't test them at home, and if you don't get them down the road and really work them hard, you can't tell what birds are going to repair and are going to be healthy and are going to bounce back fast, and then you're kind of sending blind. You don't really know what you got to send out to these futurity races.
Yeah, I agree with you there. So you're basically what you're saying is even if you don't have a club or a combine and you breed up your 50, 60, 100 youngsters, put them on a little bit of a schedule, get them down the road, get them trained out, and take them the 100, the 150, maybe a 225, a 300. And you know what? Really push them out and get them to 400 miles or 375 miles to see what you have.
Absolutely. And the
Mm-hmm.
key is when you're flying these birds, the key to the whole thing, especially with the young birds, is when you get them down the road and you get them to longer distances, 300, 350, it's how they bounce back. If they bounce back in a day or two and they're perfect after flying a 10-hour race, and they bounce back, you have something. Not this past year, but the year before, it was a tougher race for me, and I had 3 birds out front, and they were dead tired, and they flew a long time. It was 9.5 hours, something like that, from the 350 400. But the next day when I let them out, one of the hens flew for 45 minutes, and that just doesn't happen very often. You don't get a pigeon that can go up and fly for 45 minutes. That happened
No.
in the Gulf Coast. They had to toss the birds, and that's the year that Gallo came first, second, third, and he had my bird there, and it was on the drop, and it went third. The other 2 birds they kicked out. They flew for 5 minutes. They landed. They kicked the second bird out, flew for 5 minutes and landed. They kicked my bird out. It flew for half an hour, 40 minutes, and took off all over the neighborhood. And the guys were waiting there for the pigeon to land. And that went around the whole GHC. Everybody heard that story, and it was I was pretty proud of that the bird flew the GHC race and came at the top like that. And then when it was time to toss the birds, he flew forever. So that just shows what kind of health, what kind of a condition, what kind of an animal you're dealing with.
Yeah, birds bouncing back is a big key, and a lot of people never notice that. They don't look at the bird how he is when he lands and comes in, and how he sits on the perch, and just to see how quickly that bird rebounds.
That's the key.
Uh, people don't watch.
Yeah. Well, it's unfortunate, but if you want to win, if you want to send to one-off races and money races and stuff, if you want to win, these are the little things that you have to figure out, and it doesn't hurt to keep a little journal and write everything down, and so you can refer back to your notes and see how your pairings went and stuff, and that's definitely the key. They got to fly, they got to work, but when they work and they come back, they got to bounce back and they got to be healthy.
Now we have 10 amazing lots that you have sent to us up for auction, available right now on our website, feathersleypigeonauctions.com. These 10 lots, Dan, are
Yeah.
these for your one loft racer, for your club and combine racer, for your convention racer? Can they be mixed and matched? These 10 lots, who's the best buyer for these 10 lots? Do you know what I mean?
Yeah, absolutely. Okay, I purchased some speed birds 5 or 6 years ago, Yelly Rozier set it up for me from one of the speed specialists there in Ballar, and very not popular or well known loft, a fellow that just been flying pigeons for years and years. So I bought around 20 of them, 22 I think, and brought them in and really trained the hell out of them and worked them and just to find out. And they all went 400 miles. And a lot of them went to the wayside real quick. They couldn't handle it, right? But there was a few of them that really could do it, and even they've even hit on some smash type races. And so those birds are more for me, more of a convention style bird. They can fly a little faster, or fly to the GHC, or if you have a one loft race like you guys that work the birds, if you have a one loft race that you can look at and you can see that they're taking them down the road 3-4 times a week, and they're not just 25 miles and then fly on the weekend, and then 25 miles and fly on the weekend. The speed birds that I have, they can get a little heavy on you if you're not careful, but they love to get worked. They fly fantastic when they're paired. And so now I'm just kind of crossing them in with the Devrents, and now the Devrents they can do anything. They've proven it. They can fly fast, they can fly slow, they can fly in the one lofts. They prefer the distance, and I would not be scared to put the Devrents on any of these birds, and I think you're going to get a better pigeon.
Okay. And that's all good. Now, I mean, just before we get into these lots, when you took those speed pigeons in,
yep,
you knew by taking them out and stretching them out, you knew there were going to be a pile that just weren't going to do it.
Absolutely.
And you understood that, but you took the best of those. You took those speed pigeons that could give you the speed and the distance to toughen up and quicken up your pigeons. Again, that's very very smart way of doing it. I mean, you know what I'm saying? You didn't say to yourself, well, all 22 of these got to be great.
Yeah, no, I knew.
You let them whittle themselves down.
I was looking for one or two, and I got 3 of them here that I've kept. The other ones, and another thing I think is really a key in this sport, and to be fair to the next generation coming up, don't recycle those birds. If they didn't work for me, don't go and start selling a couple-year-old imports because they didn't work for you. If they're not, if you gave them a good honest test and you flew the heck out of them and they didn't work, they didn't work for me, they're not going to work for anybody else.
Yeah, so, I like that idea as well.
Keep the rest, get rid of the rest.
Yeah.
Good point there. Shall we start? Did you want to start to get into the lots? And anybody, if you have questions with regards to any of the lots that we're going to show, please post your questions in the comment section below, and we'll do our best to get to them. Dan will do his best to answer them. We're going to start with lot number 1. And Ryan, if you can read the band number, please.
All right. CU 2020 Thunder Bay 58.
This is a beautiful blue bar hen, original Gregoruk loft, a super racing hen, a long history of wins. Winner of, among others, first drop 250 miles, first drop 350 miles, the best of the old Oak Haven Farms Devrent bloodlines. This is Celine. Let's talk a little bit about this beautiful, beautiful little hen, Dan.
Okay. Most of the people, even when I go to the conventions and stuff like that, they'll say, "Oh, Dan Gregoruk, you're the Devrent guy," and I'm like, "That's what I am, the Devrent guy." But these pigeons, I can't stress enough. If you look like the grandfather to this hen, 22738, he was 43rd in the AU convention. That guy has produced literally hundreds of winners, and when I mean hundreds, I mean hundreds. That pigeon has produced winners all over the United States, all over Canada. Some of his kids have flown in Mexico. They've won one loft races. They've won convention type races. These Devrents we've had for a long time. I can't even tell you, not the first place wins, but like the 10th place, the 8th place, the 5th place, the 20th place. I sat down before we started this whole auction type thing, and I tried to put a little resume together on these birds, and it was mind blowing. I couldn't believe it myself. all these guys that had sent me letters and texts and emails and stuff. And every year I get something from somebody. I just won the 5 with your blood, the Thunder Bay blood. You know, I won the 6. I won this. I won that. And they're just a really, really, I can't stress enough what a quality animal they are. And I've been very fortunate to, have this line for a lot of years now. I've traded birds with some good friends in the States, plus some good guys here, Kenny and Bill V&V Loft. We've traded a few, and they worked for them, and it's worked for me. This particular hen, she flew excellent, right to the 250 and the 3. She was on the first drop. The odd time you'll get especially these straighter ones where, the 100, 125, yeah, they kind of mosey in when they mosey in. But once it starts getting a little longer and a little more important, that's when they're the key. But this particular hen, she's ready for a cross, and I think you could send them anywhere. You could send them if you cross her with a little speedier bird. You could go to the GHC. If you put her with another tougher type bird, you can send her to any of the one-off races, anywhere you want to send them.
Now Neil has a question. The race results on lot number 1, those come from where?
Those are just from here, from Thunder Bay. There was only the 3 of us that took them out, so I don't even really bother clocking when I'm racing here. Although this year I think we're gonna get the clocks back out, because there's no point for me, because sometimes I might get 15 out of or 20 of my birds way out in front, so it doesn't make sense to clock them, right?
Right.
So what I do is I put them through, and when they come home, I keep detailed notes on exactly what bird did what and what kind of a day it was, and then I kind of go through them at the end of the year, whether I'm going to put them in the breeding loft or not, and this is one of the hens. I told Ryan right when this whole thing started, I said I'll take the best out of my young bird team, and these are birds that I would put into my own breeding program, and I like breeding out of especially the hens that fly those longer races. They're my favorite breeders.
Brian, you want to give us a little rundown on this beauty here?
Yeah, well, like I said yesterday, she's small, she's tight, she's one pintail. The vents are nice, they're tucked up nice. She got super silky feather. I mean, the feather quality on all of Dan's birds is second to none. It's right up there. She got a nice wing. Again, the N3 flights all line up there in a row. She got good vibration, very small, compact. This pigeon feels like it could work for hours on the wing. And again, the face, it's sharp, the feather quality is there. It's a little bit more of a keel bone to her, but she's got good, soft, nice, supple muscle. Just a really nice hen. Super quality, Dan, in this hen. It's an awesome hen.
Yeah, I have her. I brought her dad out, and he's the father to her, and he's the grandfather to lot 3. And this particular Devrent cock that I got in my hand now that I'll show you is he's brother to just a bunch of real top-notch pigeons. His half brother produced the Gulf Coast winner. Another brother produced the FSI Challenge Race winner, the Milwaukee Classic winner, 600 miles in the 3-state race there for my dad's buddy in Rockford, Illinois, Gordy Johnson.
And also a half brother to, I'm just looking here at the pad, half brother to sire of GHC Classic first place winner, correct?
Absolutely, yeah, that's right. So when you look at the pedigree, they go back to the repeat cock, they go back to Magoo, they go back to Striker. You get a little bit of keel from the Striker birds. He was a little keely. I handled him many times. Matter of fact, after Campbell's sale, he went to another good friend of mine, Dave Laux. Campbell sent it to him as a gift. And Striker and Magoo, and he bred 14 or 15 kids off Striker that year, and then he was infertile. And last year when I went to Wisconsin, we had the last son of Striker in Wisconsin, and he was already quite old, so I actually put him down. I had to put him down. He was going blind and stuff. But they're a little keely, the Striker line. And when you put him with the Magoo, I know Striker and Magoo were brothers, but They handled a lot differently, and when you put them together, you got a real nice pigeon.
I have a question before we show the sire to lot number one. Mike Vandriak asks, my race schedule this year has 5 400s, one
Yeah.
500, two 600s, and a 750, all in miles. Would the
Wow.
Devrents be the right choice or crosses?
Absolutely. I can say that with Ernest, because not only have these ones done it in the young ones, but they've done it in the old bird races. This guy that I have here, his brother won the 3-state race from 600 miles, and that was in. I mean, when I say 3 states, I'm talking into Illinois, Wisconsin, and I can't remember what the other state was, but they had 3 states competing, and they go 600 miles, and there's only 4 or 5 daybirds, and he was the winner. They're awesome at the distance, and I've flown them at the distance, and I had a guy from Washington call me that bred his 540 mile combine winner this year off our birds, and yeah, they absolutely can go. I think the key with these birds too is when you set them up for that one race, that 500, they're gonna explode, and they're gonna really do well for you at that race. And then if you give them a little bit of a break for a week or two, you can set them up again, and you could probably send them to that 700, and they'll do it. I know they'll do it.
Perfect. Let's see this sire here. Let's see the sire of lot number one. Let's see. There we go.
Yeah, he's nice. Got a real character. Nice sears on that guy. Again,
Yeah.
how is he feeling your hands with this hen? This hen is very, very buoyant, but you feel the muscle. It's not a lot of pigeon. It's good muscle and good buoyancy, and not big. Is he a little longer?
He's a little longer cast, which a lot of the Devrents are, especially the Gulf Coast winner. We used to joke he looked like a football. He was so long, but the key to them, there's no weight. There's no weight whatsoever. When you get into the speed pigeons, you can tell some of the birds that I sent you, they got really wide backs, and there's more weight up front.
Yeah.
That's where they get that explosive power from. These guys need those long, spongy type muscle with the long, if you can see the long, can you see that? The long.
Yep.
Got a mile long wing.
Perfect.
And they need that good ventilation in the last flights. They have to be able to have the endurance in the muscle. The muscles have to be soft. A lot of people, when they handle pigeons, they forget about that. When the long distance birds come, they feel almost spongy or sloppy.
Yes.
In the muscle, but you got to have that, or they can't fly that long. They don't have the endurance in the muscle, and that's key to the.
He's got a beautiful wing, that bird. They look very much alike, and the wings match up very nice.
Yeah.
Again, guys.
Dan, move them the other way towards the window. Towards the window, right there. There we go. Perfect.
Yeah.
There we go.
Very, very, very nice pigeons. Again, super quality. And through the years, Dan has cultivated this. So people may say, well, hey, what are these results? If Dan has nobody to fly against in Thunder Bay, he is going to test them how he has to test them. And when he says they're equal first, he primes the pigeons like he's racing them, and they're all racing within their loft.
Exactly.
Dan is looking to eliminate birds out of his loft. So when he says it's equal first, this hen is equal first. He's taken her to 300 miles, and I sent 27. I had 3 on the drop. For Dan, this is equal first. Now, we could say, well, there's no competition. No, this is what he has to work with. Now, if you don't think this works, look at the man's track record in the last 15 to 20 years. Look at the track record. With the same method he's using, Big Andy one-laugh race, 400 miles. Who's at the top? The good-looking guy on the camera, and I'm not pointing at me. Yeah, the guy behind you. That's right. So this method, he's making it work for him. And I give a thumbs up. I mean, hey, how many people do you know would just pack it in? Say, oh, there's nobody to fly again. I'm out. I'm done. I'm going to join the curling club.
Right. Or just not work their birds at all, and just randomly send them to one loft races willy nilly here, there, everywhere. Right, Dan? Like,
You know, I love sending out to the races. I absolutely do. I enjoy breeding. My passion has always been, and it always will be, racing. And I, at some point here, when I get a little older, I'm going to retire, and I definitely am going to spend some winters in Florida, and I definitely am going to be flying birds again down there. The competition was very keen. I was very fortunate to go down there and compete and do pretty well. You know, you're never going to beat the guys because, I mean, there's just too many fantastic quality birds. But I was lucky enough to compete and win some races, and you know, I was very proud of what we did down there. But the key for me always is flying. I just love flying the birds. I love testing them. I love seeing what my breeding has done, and I get excited when you know, on the first training toss of the year. I think for the last 25 years, my little favorite thing to do is I put "On the Road Again" by Willie Nelson, and I play that song, and I get goosebumps all over because I know here it goes, we're coming into the season again. So it's a real fun time. I love it.
Mike Vandriak says Jeff Horn had to train and race the same way, and it worked for him. And it's clearly working for Dan. Dan, approximately, and you don't have to be exact, just approximately, how much money and prizes have you won in convention and one loft racing in, let's just say, the last 10 years?
Well, you know what? That's a tough question because, you know, you know, to be honest with you, I've never really sat down and counted. You know, I mean, the biggest year I ever had was 67,000 in 1 year.
Well, there you go.
Enough
said.
That's okay. Enough said. Moving right along onto that one. But you know, I will say one thing. True story, and I lived it with Dan. Dan drove this year all the way from Thunder Bay to the Pioneer Loft to watch the final race, and his birds did good up in the front. They did really good in the start of the season. They kind of backed off. There's a little bit this way, that way, and he showed up at our place. He got a speeding ticket getting here, and that was fine. And you know, we went through the, you know, the birds all come home, and his bird came. It was a little bit off the pace, but no big deal. We let Dan handle the bird, and he looked. And I'll tell you, Leah, and I'll tell you, people watching, this is what I like. This is a winner. We went out and after, and he said, you know, Ryan, I'm going to win your race. I'm going to win it. He says, I'm going to send something different. And I could see he got beat by about 8 pigeons or whatever it was on the day, and it was irking him all day. Like, I got to be at the top of this shit. I'm going to figure out how to get to the top of this shit. And don't worry, we're having Chinese food together. And he goes, I'm going to win your race. and that there, he didn't make any excuse. It's just, I'm going to win that race, and I'm going to do it. And you know what? You guys, if you're in our race, watch out. This man here is super motivated. You can feel it in these pigeons. Leah, should we show them lot 2?
Lot number 2. Lot number 2, where do you guys go to bid? The auction is running right now. Feathers Elite PigeonAuctions.com. Auction closes on Tuesday, 8 o'clock p.m. Eastern Standard Time. So lots of time for you to head on over there. Do your research and make your informative bids. And hey guys, if you have a question about any of the lots, now is your time because we have Dan here to answer your questions. Ryan, let's read the band on lot number 2.
Okay, lot number 2. CU 2020 Thunder Bay 247. I believe a beautiful blue bar cock.
A blue bar cock, original Gregoruk loft. Winner of first drop, 125 miles. First drop, 167 miles. First drop, 350 miles. This is Gordy. Let's talk about lot number 2.
Yes, my old buddy Gordy. I love that pigeon.
Oh, we love Gordy too. He just made it back from Cuba. Yeah. He's doing great. He's healthy. He's happy. But you know, before you talk about him, Dan, I'm going to talk about him.
Absolutely.
He's real nice. Again, not overly long, not overly short. He has that good one loft feel. There's not a lot of pigeon. There's a lot of good muscle. Buoyancy's right there. Good medium strong forearm. Again, like I say with the Van Hee, they've got that super feather quality, and you can really feel it. The feathers beautiful. The back is strong. The vents are tucked up. I had the birds a little bit heavier. The last few days they backed off some weight, and I'll tell you, they're just coming into real nice super form here. But the buoyancy, the feather quality, the character of this pigeon, and he's got a lot of fight in the hands. And Gordy, he's ready to go to the disco. Gordy is.
He was one of my favorite birds on the Youngbird team. That poor guy, it seemed like he always had a problem with the wing. He would drop a feather right before I would take him out. He got chased by the hawk there the one time, and he grabbed a couple of his wing feathers. But you know what? He persevered, and he went right, made all the races, and he was one of the guys I always looked for. And he made all the races, and right at the end, the last couple of races, he really showed his stuff, and he came on the drop from that 350, and I believe it was his 8th or 9th flight was gone, and so he was pretty handicapped, but he made it on the drop with the rest of them. But he had to really work. He worked harder than probably all of them.
And that 350 that you took him out on that day, what was the time on the wing for those pigeons?
That day was a little faster than I wanted, and what I was scared of was there was a pocket of rain that was going to come around Kenora, and if I would have went a little bit further, they would have hit that rain, and I was actually lucky because it did rain. It rained real good, but they already got past it, so they went right around the 8 hours to fly the 350.
Okay, so again, another good working day. Super strong, this pigeon, very very nice.
Raymond is asking, for 550 to 600 kilometers, do you recommend these beautiful birds? I think you would say yes, wouldn't you, Dan?
Yeah, well, that's what, like I said right at the beginning, that's what I want to. These are the ones I want to win. I want them to win at that distance. If they win the shorter ones, I've had guys, especially some of these speed birds that I sent away, I've had some pretty amazing results. Like I'll get a guy call me up and say, hey, that bird that you sent me just won the 100, but she was 4 minutes out front. And then last week when we were training from 75 miles, she was 5 minutes out front. The speed birds have thrown some really incredible performances in the shorter races, but I'm not worried about that. I want them to win. The 3, the 250, the 4, the 5. I want them to win the longer races. That's what I'm looking for.
Yeah, and remember, guys, 90% of these races, Dan's interested at the final. It's the final that he wants. He hasn't made the bread and butter. When he wins the 67,000, it wasn't he won the 100 and he won the 200. I'll tell you, I can tell Dan this year, you're going to win Big Andy's race 100 miles, the 150, the 200, the 225, but you ain't going to get a bird at the 300. He's not happy. He'll get rid of all those wins. Absolutely. And he'll take the 300-mile win.
Absolutely. I have her mother, his mother here, and this is bred by Andy, and it's off his 600-mile GHC winner, the hen, and the mother of this hen is a full sister to Laura's a big winner today from my Gainus. So the father of that particular bird there that you have, it has a lot of one-off race winning background also. The Vegas hen, Mattins, they did really well in the Crooked River, a couple of these other one-off races. And the father of that bird was a gift from a really, really close friend of mine, Mark Chen in Wisconsin.
Now, with that bird you have there, you went to Big Andy. I know Big Andy has a super collection of pigeons, and I mean, he's got some of the top pedigreed pigeons probably in the world at his place. Now, this pigeon here, you wanted something out of his 600-mile winner.
Right.
Do you hear that? 600-mile winner. He didn't say, I picked the favorite flavor. What's the best flavored pedigree? He went for the pigeon that did the work.
Right.
And again, you see it. He's looking for birds, time on the wing, hour on the wing. 600 miles is no joke for pigeons. And no. and that's what he's after.
The father to this hen, the 600-mile winner for Andy, he also won, I think, a Youngbird race from around 2 or 250 in the GHC. But Andy sent it to Yel Rogiers, and Yel's breeding birds that he's flying in Belgium off that pigeon. So if Yel got him, that that's a good pigeon.
Yeah.
Yeah. No, and
Absolutely.
that's what we're saying. The guy that asked, will these birds do the distance? Dan's most important thing is birds that can do the threes, the fours, the threes and up. That's
Yeah.
what he's looking for. Lot number 2, Leah. Don't miss out on it. The
Oh,
buoyancy, the muscle.
there's the dam there. Have a
There's
nice the mother. Yeah, beautiful.
the.
Look at that.
I don't know if you can see.
Yeah. Yeah.
Yeah. Lot of white flights there. Lot of war paint.
A lot of war paint. Yeah. A lot of war paint.
And guys, please, when you're done watching this broadcast and you head on over to our website, Feathersleep Pigeon Auctions, if you take a look at the lot details, the descriptions, you will see Dan took the time to shoot videos, little descriptive videos of all of the breeders in his auction, so they can give you a nice up close and personal look at them. We're going to move on to lot number 3. And I must say, Dan, the eyes on your birds are beautiful. Beautiful.
We got nice eyes. We got nice eye sign, Dan.
Yeah, beautiful.
It's funny. My father's theory on eye sign was, he says, I like the eye that comes through the trapper first.
Yeah.
That was always the way he went for it, and I was more of a, I put the colors together and tried to keep them opposite. And one thing that I have noticed over the years is, and maybe I don't know if it's just in my loft, a guy that would be a great question to ask that would be Dave Ottaway. I noticed over the years the eyes are getting darker and darker and darker. More of the pearly eye type pigeons. It seems like they're starting to fade out of our sport. And the more I handle, the more I look, I see less and less of those pearly type eyes.
Yeah, I think it has to do with all the sunny races.
That's just like a football player, he puts the black under his eyes, right? The darker one.
Well, you know what we do here in North America. You know how we really fly. We fly with the weather. What is it? We don't even look outside. We just look at the computer screen and it says, "Wow, today's going to be cloudy." I don't think we're going to let them out.
There you go.
No, okay, but anyways, that's for another day. Okay, I'm gonna move on to lot 3. Good old Betty Davis is in the house, Leah. That's why you keep mentioning eyes. Here we go. Lot number 3 from CU 2020 from Thunder Bay. Ring number 53. Leah, I'll say her name. Betty Davis.
A blue bar hen, original Gregoruk loft from a super family of winners. Winner of first drop 167 miles, first drop 250 miles, first drop 350 miles, and from the DeVrent lines. This is Betty Davis. Let's talk about lot number 3.
Well, I'll give you the rundown on her. Okay, she's a very, very small hen. There's not a lot of pigeon here, but she's got good muscle, a little bit deeper again. You say that it's got that DeVrent in it again. You feel a little bit of keel bone, but the buoyancy is great. Feather quality is great. Good medium, strong forearm. Silky, silky feathers. I know this was the first, and I'll say it like I did yesterday. This is the first pigeon I did the eye videos on, and the eye was just back and forth and moving. Her back comes up a little bit. Her vents, they're strong, they're tight. Again, she's a very, very sharp hen, very small to a type. But I'll tell you, look at the curiosity in her, look at the shine in her. She's beautiful. Feathers are like, each feather looks like Bob Ross took the time and just painted it on, painted it on, painted it on. But very nice hen, Dan. And again, the last 3 flights on this hen, they all just bing, bang, boom, line up like cherries in a tree.
There you go.
There she is. Dan, give me the goods on her.
Well, she was another one that I flew, and this was off a pair that I just put together. The father was a very good flyer for me. He flew 400 as a young one and as an old one. We were still fooling around with the old birds a little bit, and I put him into the stock loft because you can see the video. You can see that pigeon. He's just got so much vitality. He just doesn't stop. And his mother, this little hen's mother, is off a pigeon that probably might be the best pigeon I ever bred. And I sent it to my good friends in Wisconsin. And after I'd already bred some really quality pigeons, and then what we would do is we'd send a few young ones out, and my friend Fred, he flew in the Chicago Combine against the guys in Chicago, and that cockbird, I think he produced 5 or 6 first Chicago Combine winners from 100 to 400 miles. Her sister, the mother's sister, was third in the AU convention. I just can't say enough about this one's grandfather. He was just an absolutely special pigeon. A matter of fact, I sent my best hen, 99, my best friend hen, to my buddy in Wisconsin, just to pair it to him and get one set of eggs. And I mean, we raised them in, I don't know, maybe September, August. Her mother was a real late hatch, but the pair just fits together well. It's got the best of my Gulf Coast bloodline in there. It's got the Omaha, the Rapide, all the best of Rents, Striker, Magoo way back. You saw the grandfather earlier, and he's bred a ton of good birds. So it's just that pair is going to be a real stable pair for my loft. I'm gonna do some sending away out of them this year for sure.
Well, there you go, Leah. It looks good. And another thing I noticed, I took the time because I always like to what we call creep, or you put up some videos and I look, and I noticed with all the pairs that you had put together, nobody was asleep. They all were like, "Hey, what's going on? I haven't seen you in a few months." And they're dancing and they're cooing and they're strutting and they're blowing right out. You seen the vitality in the pigeons. You seen pigeons that were getting busy living. You know what
Yeah,
I mean?
yeah,
Not
for sure.
deadbeats, nothing like that. And again, I will say, Dan, you breed pigeons with excellent feather quality. I would say almost out of all the North Americans that we have done auctions for, I feel your birds are the closest to a European style of a lot of uniformity. A
Okay.
lot of uniformity. They're not. You don't got a big deep one and then a real tiny one. They're very much alike. And I know, Leah, when we did the pictures, you said, oh, shit, these are hard. How are we not going to get the pictures mixed up? Because they're all they're a lot of carbon copies. I mean, the next one up is a Pied, the poor Pied. He's the
Yeah,
lone wolf in this. But um, nice pigeons.
sure. Thank you. I appreciate that.
Yeah.
No, very nice indeed. Where do you guys go to bid? FeathersleepPigeonAuctions.com. The Pied's lot 5 ran, so it's not next up, by the way.
I'm sorry,
Don't
Leah.
mess me up,
My
okay? I'm easily
my
confused.
my my apologies, Leah. We're gonna move on to lot number 4, and Leah, remember, lot number 4 is a blue hen. You guys want to know where to bid? FeathersElitePigeonAuctions.com. Go on over there, check it out right now. We got Enemy Van He on. We've got Dan Gregoruk. We've got Guido Madrusin. Some real good pigeons here up for grabs. These pigeons are exceptional. You are not going to go wrong. This pigeon is just getting better and better by the day. Every time I handle it, I say, man, I like this one a hell of a lot. Here we go, Leah. Lot number 4. Get ready for it. CU 2020 Thunder Bay 228. A beautiful, muscular, and I mean muscular, blue hen.
I'm getting a little feedback on your mic, Ryan, so just don't talk too loudly. That might just be because, yeah, there we go. Okay, here we go. A Blue Bar Hen Original Gregoruk Loft, a super racer, winner of first drop 100 miles, first drop 125 miles, first drop 167 miles, first drop 200 miles, first drop 250 miles, first drop 350 miles. This is a father and daughter mating folks, and this is Crooked Toe. Let's talk a little bit about lot number 4.
Well, she is built. She's got shoulders on her that are this wide. She's all up front. She's like she's like a pear. She's all up front and then nothing. She just goes to nothing. But I mean, loads of muscle. She's buoyant for the muscle. She has a little extra access weight. That's okay. The vents are open on her, but the vents are strong. You can feel her. She's excited. She's breathing a little heavy. Again, we got a little bit overweight. That's my fault. That's not the birds. Again, nice wing, not an overly big wing, but she's very sharp. Nice bright eye. The feathers, again, it looks like Bob Ross painted them on. There's not much more I have to say. She's a real nice, compact, muscular hen.
I have the father here with me, Ryan, and He's also grandfather to, I think, lot 6 and 7. He's one of the speed birds that I got from Belgium, and the cool thing about these birds is these were the guy's young bird team, and Yo went there and picked the top 20 birds or whatever. The fellow was getting out of pigeons because he had the breeder's lung disease, and he was already quite old. But like you said, the upfront muscle is unbelievable. They're a totally opposite bird of the Devrents, as you can
Yes,
handle.
100% different.
And I went through, like I said, I went through 20 of them just to get to where I am here. And this particular cockbird, which is her father, is he has the most vitality you ever seen in a pigeon. When you walk into the loft, he attacks the door and he hangs on the cage. You put him in with the hens, and like he's the perfect bird on the bull system. I could mate him to anything, and he's always active in the loft. And a lot of the kids are the same way. And these ones have a really propensity, I guess you could say, for the speed, and they will surprise you right out in the middle of the season on a training toss. You get 4 or 5 minutes ahead. And he's bred a lot of good birds already. Not only has he bred the AU convention second place, he's bred some top birds in Florida. We almost won the challenge race with one of them. My good buddy Dragon flew it there, and Dragon called me up and he said, when I look at that bird and what it did, he said that was one of the best pigeons I've flown since I've been out here in Florida. And that was, that's a big compliment. And it all comes down from this guy. So I took him and I put him back to his daughter. And that's the daughter was second in the AU convention. I also got the 33rd place winner with the in the AU convention with his other daughter. So this year I'm going to keep them together, and I'm going to breed 6 or 8 of them off that pair, and I want to keep them for myself this year, and fly them, see who's got the brain, see who's got the mind, and then the good ones are going to stay home here this year, and so I just have something to fall back on.
Yeah, well, I'll tell you, this is a father-daughter mating. It's very, very, very nice. I mean, it's just so much muscle. She's just packed up front, and she's holding a little bit of extra weight, and that's okay. She's about 1.5 fingers, almost 2 fingers keel to the vent. So she's got a bit of a short keel on her, which is fine. But I like that the father and daughter put a bird together this nice. Like, there's just so much you cross this out. There's so much good in the bird.
Well, that's the key to the whole thing, I think. And what I like, the best part about it, is I really wanted to test them on the race course this year. And I wanted to make sure that they could still have the brains and still could fly. And she might have been the best flyer in the coop. She was just outstanding, never tired. And, she just always looked like she was just $1 million, just no matter what race we sent her to. She was one of the first ones. There was 3 on the drop off that really rainy, tough race, and she didn't even look like she flew.
Oh, geez, she's real nice pigeon. Again, you see the father there. Again, the confidence that Dan has going father to daughter. The results are here. The proof is in the pudding. Again, guys, if you're the winner of this bird, you are gonna feel super muscle, super feather quality in this lot. Yeah, nice wing again. Yeah, you can see it. Beautiful, big strong wing on that guy.
There we go.
Beautiful.
Good job, guys. Where do you guys go to bid? FeatherselitePigeonAuctions.com. We're going to move on to lot number 5. This is the only little bit of war paint we got going on in this auction. Let's read the band number.
All right, lot number 5, CU 2020 Thunder Bay, number 82, blue pied hen, very nice, super quality hen right here.
A blue pied hen, original, Gregoruk loft, a super racer, winner of first drop, 125 miles, first drop, 167 miles, first drop with 3 other birds, 200 miles, first drop, 350 miles. A great hen that is sure to breed winners. This is Pearl. Let's talk about lot 5.
All right, she's a nice hen. Again, a lot like the last hen. She got a front on her about that wide. She's all up front, tapers down in, and I mean the back, the shoulders are nice and strong, tapers to nothing. Buoyancy, again, I like this hen. One finger keel to the vent. The vents are tucked up. They're nice and tight. She got a super strong, tight forearm. Feather quality is superior on her. Got that little bit of war paint, which is nice. Quite a bit of war paint, actually. Beautiful, beautiful wing. But again, not an overly big pigeon, but tons of muscle. Very keen, very alert. And man, the feathers literally are just painted right on this pigeon.
I got her daddy. I brought him out too. He looks exactly like her.
Exactly.
Yeah, they're
Look at that.
spitting images. And guys, if you're watching, this is why we like doing this. So you see, you see the similarities. You see it right away. They're like clones.
Yeah, they're real cool. That's a real nice. She's a beauty. She's a beautiful hen. Matter of fact, to be totally honest with you, she fooled me because I thought it was a cockbird. She took over one of the top boxes there in the young bird loft, and she fought tooth and nail with everybody, and nobody would come in there. She cooed around like crazy, and then at the end of the season here, I just continue to fly the birds, and I have a couple of old birds that I fly with them. Well, she paired up to my daughter's Daisy Whitey, who's a grizzle. So they paired up, and I'm like, that's a hen. I couldn't believe it. I thought all this time it was a cockbird. She really fooled me.
Well, I'll tell you, she's
very dominant
super.
hen.
Yeah, she looks very motherly. She puffs up nice. She got nice attitude, nice character to her. Sharp looking, very very alert. And again, man, the colors on the neck, the purples and the greens, they just woof all over, and muscle.
Her mother, I flew to the 400, and she was one that I had 3 on the drop. And she comes off. The mother of this bird comes off the one of the Belgian sprint birds, mated to a pigeon that was the second overall ace pigeon of America long distance. He won 500 miles, 500 miles, 400 miles, 500 miles, and he already bred 20th in the Hoosier. So her grandfather was very on the mother's side was very very good, and on the father's side you got this pied cock. Who was from my good friend again, Mark Chen, and it's got some of the Baldwin Tilson blood in there. On the top side, it's got the Windy City winner, that was right up there in the Windy City. So it's got, close up. It's the grandparents close up. They're all pigeons that won one-off races or money races. Every single one of them was a super performer. And he's another one with a wing that goes for about a mile and a half.
Yeah, real big wing on him. Oh, and man,
he's a little bit of a bigger pigeon. He's got a little bit of size to him, but again, he's buoyant as heck. And I had the choice of about 30 pigeons, and this is the guy that I took because he's got the right feel.
Oh, there you have it. Again, if you guys are looking for a little bit of war paint, there's only one in the sale to pick from. You will not go wrong on this pigeon. I know Robbie Taylor there from Windsor, they came down and they asked, "Oh, you have the Danbers?" And when I showed them this one, they started drooling. They said, "Boy, what a super pied hen." You'll see her. There she is. Look, she's almost got that character right there, boy. Lot number 5, guys. Feathers Elite Pigeon Auctions. Auction closes Tuesday, I believe, right, Leah?
Yep, Tuesday, 8 o'clock p.m. Eastern Standard Time. So lots of time for you guys to head on over to our website. Do your research and make your informative bids. We're going to move on to lot number 6. Beautiful blue bar cock. Let's read the band number on this guy.
All right. Lot number 6, CU 2020 Thunder Bay 68, a blue cock.
Blue bar cock, original Gregoruk loft. Winner of first drop, 200 miles. 3 birds out front on the drop. First drop, 350 miles. First drop, 250 miles. A fine cockbird and a nest mate to our lot number 7. This is Super 68. Let's talk about lot number 6.
All right. Okay. So he's a nice bird. He's a little different in the hands. He's a little left, little right. I mean, I think he just gets a little nervous. He's got a little more keel to him, about a finger and a half keel to the vents. The vents are strong, a little bit open on him. He's got a lot of fight to him. Again, the feather quality is right there. He got so much fight, it sort of makes him feel a little uneasy in your hands. He's a little different than the last few pigeons. He's got that fight. But again, he's sharp looking, and again, you see what I'm saying by fight. He just says, "Listen, I'm not built for the show. I don't even want to be a part of the show." But there you have him again. The forearm, medium strong, feather quality is great. Nice pigeon.
He that one, Ryan, was a really good flyer. When I had that real tough race, that 200-mile race, it was more like about 212 or something like that. It was just outside of Dryden. They have to fly over a lot of water, and he was on the first drop with the other two, the pied hen and the crooked toe, and that guy all year. He's nonstop action. When you put him in the loft, he doesn't stop cooing around. He's chasing the hens. He's got such vitality. That pigeon has got such vitality. He's off a very, very, very good hen that Yale Revere's flew. She won 27th national over 8,600 pigeons, and I bought her from Yale, and she handles a lot the same way as he does. She's a little bigger, but she's a sprint pigeon. She's a little bigger, a little keelier. But I think that with a good cross, that guy is really going to be able to breed some fantastic birds. I've got a lot of really good, really good sons and daughters of that hen that have performed well in Florida. They've done really good. They've done well in Chicago. I had one that was just I think 6th or 8th there was over 2,000 birds in the race from around 300 miles. So I think he's going to be a good breeder. I think that's the kind of vitality you want to inject into your pigeons.
Well, I'll tell you, he has the vitality. He's got the fight and the wiggle. It almost takes away from what you're handling. You know what I mean? I mean, if you're real calm with him and you weren't doing, you feel okay. He's got a lot of good stuff here, but he's just like, he's in your hands. He's just fight. He doesn't want to open the wing. He says, "Hey, I don't want to show you my wing. I just want to wiggle and fight." His back comes up a little bit, but he's one pintail. He feels more like a sprinter. He's got a real nice, sharp-looking eye. Look how alert he is. He's not asleep here at all.
And I just
Beautiful,
wanted to make
beautiful.
mention here something that I noticed when I was working through the pedigrees, which was nice to see. The Grand Dam on the sire side is a Brooks pigeon from Niels Brooks, right, from Belgium. So that was
Yes.
that was a nice little surprise there to see that.
Mm-hmm.
Well, hey, they're good pigeons. And again, Dan's always looking. Dan is not afraid to bring pigeons in. Dan's not afraid. I'm not kidding you. Dan's at our place. We're watching the one lot birds come home, and we brought out some birds. He watched other birds come, hit the board. We looked at some pigeons, and he picked out one of our birds. He said, "Bang, I want that pigeon." And you know what? He's always trying to evolve. He's not afraid to go to Belgium. He's not afraid to go to he's not afraid to try other pigeons. He's testing them against what he has, and he wants to improve what he has. And when he finds it, it improves it.
Absolutely. You know, Ryan, it's pretty cool. You talk about traveling. I go into the States every year, and you know, my good friends in Wisconsin, the Pieper family, and my good buddy Kenny Sweeney, we do all the grading when I come down. We go through all the birds. We go through all the breeders, pair up the breeders for next year. I've been fortunate enough to travel all over the world, really, and look at these pigeons, into Mexico, all over the States, into Europe. I think one of the best little vacations I had, my family and we went to Australia for a wedding, and my wife's cousins all live there, and I hooked up with the pigeon guys there from the Adelaide Club, and I spent 2 or 3 days with them and went through pigeons there, and what an experience. I handled hundreds of birds, and all I can tell you is it was just an unbelievable experience. The pigeons that they have there, the difference compared to what we do here, compared to what they did in Australia, it was mind blowing. But it was nice to handle all these different pigeons. You know, you get a real feel of pigeons around the world.
Yeah, I agree with you. I'll tell you, I can talk to guys and you can hear things, you hear stories, or you hear remedies, and you hear this and you hear that. But my most favorite thing, no matter where I go, first thing I want to do is hold pigeons.
Me too.
You know, and just to see where you're at.
Yeah.
See what I like. And I like to go to a guy's place. I come to your place, handle some pigeons, and I go, boy, Dan, that checker, that's a super. Then you say to me, shit, that's you picked probably the best one out in the loft. And you're constantly, and I know you do the same thing. These are things that I think good pigeon men try and practice. I know we have open houses here, just like this weekend. Birds are going to be on display. COVID rules are in effect. Guys, if you're in the area, if you're in the province of Ontario, drive, come here, set up an appointment, and handle these pigeons. Every week, come and handle the pigeons. I know if this man here in Thunder Bay lived 2 hours away, he'd be here literally every Saturday going through and looking at pigeons, looking at pigeons, looking at pigeons. Because you want to know why? He's looking for similarities. He's looking for key things. He's looking at pedigrees. He wants to improve.
Absolutely.
Yeah.
Ryan, a thing that I think is very important for the guys to know, and people, will handle a bird once in a blue moon, or go to their loft and handle a pigeon once in a while. But it's so important to handle your pigeons, and handle them often, and handle other people's pigeons, and go to these little functions. You don't have to buy a pigeon every time you go, but just to feel what is out there, and it keeps your hands in memory mode. The more practice you need, to practice. It's just like any other thing. It's like stick handling in hockey. If you all of a sudden only stick handle on Saturday afternoons, you're going to get beat. Handle pigeons as much as you possibly can. Handle your own, handle your friends, handle the winners, and your fingers remember the good ones.
I think
Yeah.
that is the most excellent advice I've heard in a long time, honestly. And
Yes.
as a new
Yes.
fancier myself, I think it is very important. When the guys come to the open houses, I see some of them are a little shy. Maybe they're just a little nervous to handle them. That's what they're there for. And when you go to a guy's loft and he invites you over, you go to visit, ask him, can I handle your birds? Guys will say, no problem. That's how we learn, folks. Don't be afraid. Don't be shy. Handle those birds. Whether you want to buy them or you don't want to buy them or whatever, it's good practice.
You know, I will be honest. Just a quick story before I move to these last four lots. You get so used to handling pigeons, you're going to race them, and you handle them, and you go, boy, this bird feels great this week. It's blown out. It's nice. It's pink. It's clean. It's perfect. Boom. You bet on it, and it wins. Or you don't bet on it, and it wins. And you do that a few times. You go, whoa, I'm looking for that same thing. Long story short, we went to the Texas shootout in when CL first put it on, and we had a pigeon that won the 100, it won the 150, it won the 225, and we were going to the final race. And me and Richard, we flew down there. We didn't care. We were having the time of our life, and we put the pigeon in our hands for shipping. And he wasn't blown out, and he was purple underneath, and he didn't look right. We put the bird, just shipped the bird. We turned around, we dropped our shoulders, and we said, we ain't going to be in the money.
Yeah.
And you want to know what, Dan? We were about an hour and 40 minutes behind.
Yeah.
You know what? And if I wouldn't have been there and taken that time and remembered all those feelings,
Yeah.
the bird just said it, we're done. And I know you do the same thing. I know I've seen you. I've seen you in Florida. I've seen you at some of the convention races, and you'll take the time to go down there, and you're not going there just for the camaraderie and the party. You're there for business. You're there to feel those pigeons.
Absolutely. When I was there flying, in Florida, I mean, I'd get up at 4 o'clock in the morning, train the birds, get the birds out with my partner, clean the loft, go to the gym, and then I'd hit one of the pigeon flyers houses, and that was, for 3 months, and I can't even tell you how many thousands of pigeons I handled when I was down there, and how many things that happened, and all the experience and knowledge and stuff that you can gain just by putting yourself in that situation and talking to people and opening up your ears, and getting like I said, the practice at handling the birds. It's something that stays with you, and it's something that makes you a better flyer and a better handler and a better judge of quality and ability to send out to these races.
And yes, and there's one other key point to this. Everything that me and Dan are talking about right now, it doesn't come in a book.
Absolutely.
You can't read it. You have to go out and feel it and remember it and understand it, and slowly you will learn it. And the best way to learn this what we're talking about is handle, 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 handle.
Absolutely.
And when the guy hands you a pigeon that's won 500 miles or 300 miles, a super pigeon, you remember those feelings, because a lot of them, there's a lot of similarities in the pigeons. Sure, there's exceptions to rules. Sure, there's birds with bad backs and open vents and whatever, but you'll see a lot of the real good pigeons, they're cut out of the same cloth.
Absolutely.
There you go. Let's move on to lot number 7.
All right, here we go. Lot number 7
is the nest mate to lot number 6. Go ahead, Ryan.
CU 2020 Thunder Bay, short number 76.
This is a beautiful blue bar hen, original Gregoruk loft, winner of first drop, 350 miles, and of course a nest mate to your lot number 6. This is Super 76. Let's talk a little bit about lot number 7.
Okay, not a big hen, very short. Again, nice thick, wide shoulders, tapers down. About a finger and a half, 2 fingers keeled to the vent. I'd say 2 fingers keeled to the vent. The vents are strong, just open a little bit. She's holding a little extra weight. Back moves a little left, a little right. She's a little nervous in my hands. Again, medium strong forearm. Feather quality is super, super silky. Again, another one of those pigeons with a lot of vitality, a lot of fight in her. She's very, very sharp. She goes, man, I am just not into the show. Again, her back is strong. It's just, she's just a little nervous in the show. Nice swing on her. For her, the muscles, she's buoyant. She is buoyant. And man, again, Dan, I don't know how you get the feather quality on these birds, but it's very, very nice feather quality, super quality.
Thank you. Her and her brother both, they were actually very, very late. They went into the they could have actually been flown with the late hatches actually. So they had to be jumped. I put them into the flying coop in June, where the other birds were already flying already. Well, you can tell
Yeah.
she's
Yeah, she's got what, 2, 4, she's got 5 flights to go.
Yeah, she was very. Both of them were very late, but I'll tell you what. What jumped at me, their nest mates, and what jumped at me was the the vitality. Her and her brother. They're just they're different. They got just a ton of she even fights and it's just a really. I just think that blood, there's something to it, that blood is gonna be a nice mix with somebody's pigeons. They cross them out. Even like with the DeVrents or something, I think that I think there's a real good possibility to breed some speed and some good birds that could do well in a convention style or a fast one-off race like yours.
Well, a nice hen, and again, you see the vitality. You can see the shine in them. Again, these two are super fighting these birds. This lot number 7, very small hen, compact, but loads and loads of muscle. There she is.
Where do you
Leah,
guys
do you have
go
anything
to
to add?
bid? Feathers Elite PigeonAuctions.com. Again, this auction closes on Tuesday at 8 o'clock p.m. Eastern Standard Time. All birds are in Toronto, Canada. Free shipping across the United States for you guys, you American buyers. All bids are in, again, Canadian dollars. We're going to move on to lot number 8.
Lot number 8, Thunder Bay 2020, number 65, Blue Cock.
A blue cock. Yes, let me just pull up the lot here. It kicked me out, so let's take a look. What do we got here? We have a blue bar cock, original Gregoruk loft with Greek connection, an inbred Greek connection. Sister wins first on the drop. 2020 young birds, 350 miles. Super inbreeds that can fly. This is double Greek. Let's talk about lot number 8.
Okay, so this is a little different pigeon. He's got big wide shoulders, but he's real wide and long across the keel, across the body. You feel a little bit of keel to him. He's a bigger pigeon, still buoyant, but back comes up a bit. Vents are strong. They're tucked up nice and tight. Again, another bird with super fight, and the forearm on him, so tight. Feather quality's bang right on. But he is different than Dan's earlier pigeons. I know the earlier birds. This one's definitely different. I haven't handled a lot of the Greek connection birds, but they say that John the Greek there, his birds are bigger.
They are, absolutely.
They are. Okay.
That's one of them right there. The father is he's a big guy. He's right, he's a handful. But the cool thing about them is, I mean, they're little bigger birds, yes, but look at the results that John has. I mean, he is a hell of a one loft flyer, a hell of a one loft flyer. And I only bred this guy and his sister, and I kept this guy for myself. He wasn't going to even be in the auction, but I continued to fly the young ones right until December. So I kicked them outside every day. We don't have a hawk problem October, November, December. I virtually get untouched. But the very last, well, this caused it to be the very last day, his sister got picked off by a big goshawk, so I couldn't put her in the auction. And she was first on the drop there from the final race as a real late hatch.
Well, I'll tell you, I know there. It seems like wherever John goes, if he doesn't win it, he's right up there. He
Absolutely.
just seemed. I mean, look at Pataya. What was he? The 11th bird.
Yeah.
You know,
he won California again this year, 2 years in a row. And that California bird, it goes back to the Wicked Girl and Who's Your Daddy there, and that's what this guy is all about. He's very inbred to that Who's Your Daddy and Wicked Girl, and all John's really top notch birds.
Now I find that the only thing with him is he's almost got no bars to him.
Huh. Oh, maybe is that because he's inbred?
I don't know. I even look at the photo. I mean, you see it here. They're not thick, big bars or nothing on him. So he's got disappearing bars, but feather quality is good. And again, you hear the Greek birds are a bigger bird. You're kept them this way, and they come out the same way. You almost feel it's a little different than those different. You feel the difference in the pigeons. But again, the size, it's buoyant. And again, guys, like we say, Dan looks, John the Greek's doing good. He's been doing good. What does he do? Let's try a little bit of that. Let's bring a little bit of that in. And again, super nice pigeon, sharp, a little bit bigger of a pigeon, but got all the top winning bloodlines right here. Strong back. You're not going to go wrong with this guy.
Yeah, I think that's I'm gonna cross that blood into my own family and see how it does. It's kind of like I say, kind of a new try me. It's new, but you can't say a bad thing about John. He's just one of the best.
No, you gotta try it. It's working. But and again, his wing for his body, his wing's not that big.
Yeah.
He's not,
Well, sometimes you know yourself, Ryan. Sometimes with the inbreds, they tend to that's one of the things I noticed with my Devrents when I over the years they used to have real big super long wings, and when I inbreed them a little bit too much, I lose that length of the wing. And that could be the same thing that's happened, with them. That's a very inbred pigeon.
Wow. Well, hey, moving on to this lot 9. I think this could be the bird of the sale.
Lot number 9 and 10 are nestmates, and they're also, I think, both are one loft racing winners. They are. Yes. Here we go.
Wow.
Lot number 9. Let's read the band number on lot 9, please.
CU 2020 Thunder Bay 223.
A blue bar cock, original Gregoruk loft, a super racing cock, winner of 20th final Salem Special One Loft Race 2020, 16th average speed, $1,000 earned in prize money, and an nestmate to your lot number 10. This is Mr. Salem. Let's talk about lot number 9.
Wow, he is put together real nice. Again, nice, strong, wide across the shoulders, tapers off quite nice. Finger keel to the vent. The vents are tucked up. They're like steel. Nice, strong back to him. He's got a little fight to him, which I like. Feather quality is super. Forearm is nice. Nice bars on him. Feather, beautiful. Strong arm, beautiful wing. I like this pigeon a lot.
Hold him up there a little higher. There we go. Okay. There we go. Perfect. Thank you. Go ahead.
And you know what? I'll let Dan talk about this guy because he speaks for himself.
Well, I have his father here in front of me, and this is a bird I bought from the EU convention when I went down. They had a 350-mile race there, and when I talked to the guy that handled these birds, I talked to him before the race, and he told me before the race that this particular pigeon was going to be one of his top birds, and it was his first bird. And he said all year, just perform, perform, perform. So when it came time for the sale, I remember that, and I bought him. And he's got all the Gainus kind of blood in it, the African blood. As a matter of fact, on the top side, his grandmother just bred the Southern Bell winner for Champ Camp. And this guy is what amazes me about this pigeon is I don't think I've seen a bird that's kept himself in the condition that this guy has kept himself in. He feels like he could go to a race. He's just in unbelievable condition. He's got oil spots on his wings. I mean, he's got vitality. And he bred this one. He bred the nestmate. I kept two late hatches that are full brothers to these guys. I got them in the stock lot for next year. So I really think that this bird is gonna do something, and they're gonna explode. They're gonna be really good one-off racers and flyers and breeders.
And I will say, no bullshit. These last two lots, they went through basically hell.
They did, yeah, absolutely.
They went to a race that basically went from 1,700 birds down to 400 birds due to sickness, due to whatever. Then they were locked up for months and months and months. Then they were asked to go out and perform. And you feel it in this pigeon. He's probably a lot like the father. He naturally can keep himself there. And this pigeon has that. So when whoever worked him, it naturally he took after his dad, his father, and the super quality in this pigeon. And again, another one loft top finalist here. And he does it again, Leah. I told you. He keeps taking the money out. But if you guys are looking for something special, this is going to be probably one of my picks right here.
Yeah, lot 9 and 10, they've got that, what do you call it, the intangible, Ryan? That thing in them that they just don't want to give up.
Yeah, they can handle what we call a lot of shit.
Yeah.
Okay. No, and that's how you win. You got to get through the shit. And you think about it. You take 1,700 pigeons, whittle them down to 400, turn the screws a little more, and you got two nestmates that are back up at the top again. That's why I would say in Canada, over the length of time in the years, he's the master at these multi-loft futurities, band races. This is the guy right here. And you got an opportunity of getting a bird that went through a lot of shit to become a winner.
There you go. Where do you go to bid? FeathersLeapPigeonAuctions.com. Let's move on to the final lot number 10, and a nestmate to your lot number 9. Ryan, read the band number on lot 10.
Boy, just when I don't think they can get better, I think this is going to be the first pick. Here we go. Thunder Bay. CU 2020 Thunder Bay. Great number, 2222. Beautiful blue hen. Wow. Head turner.
A blue bar hen, original Gregoruk loft. 14th final at 400 kilometers. 9th at 321 kilometers. 3rd average speed, winning $1,250 and a free perch fee at the 2020 Salem Special One Loft race. And an S-mate to your lot number 9. This is the 222.
Well, a lot like her brother. She's a little bit shorter, though. Again, shoulders are this wide across the back. One and a half fingers keel to the vent. The vents are tucked up. Forearms super tight. Feather quality is bang right on. And you guys hear me keep saying the same thing. I told you. He clones up the pigeons. They're very, very much alike. Purple and green on the neck is tremendous. Not an overly big wing, but a very nice wing. Dan, what else you want to add on this hen?
I showed you the father already, but the mother goes back to my Gulf Coast winter lines. her, oh geez, what would have been the mother's grandfather, I guess, was a pigeon that I flew in Florida, 123, and he was, I think he was eighth or ninth in the GHC Classic that year, and he went on to be a really good breeder. I left him in the States, and he bred all kinds of good birds. And this one's grandfather, so it'd be on the mother's side again. He won the Milwaukee Classic. So they got to have that winning pedigree. You say it all the time. You go to the grandparents and look at the grandparents, what they've done, and if they are top breeders and if they're top winners and won one-off races and won, stuff like the Gulf Coast and stuff. I mean, that's where it's at. My good friend Mark Chen just came in eighth in the GHC Classic this year, and it's down from the Gulf Coast line. So they're just a real consistent bunch of pigeons. So I think these two are going to be special.
Yeah, and again, what we say, pedigrees is like finding on a mountain, finding the gold, the line down. And if you can find the line, the gold you'll follow that gold down. But you got to know how to read pedigrees. You want to look back, and sometimes people say, well, why do you want to look back in the second, third, fourth generations? You know what? I like to see winners. It's bred winners, or it's a top consistent bird or a winner, and you keep seeing it go down the line. That means this pigeon should follow the line and be able to produce that. Now, it's not always, but your odds go way up. Again, these two pigeons here should have won a boatload of more money than what they had earned. But I'll tell you, the quality is in these two. You guys aren't going to go wrong with a muscle on top of muscle. Both of them have it. And, looking at the wings, looking at the tails, I know where they were. I know they had to go through a lot. There's no fretting on any of the flights. So they didn't have, they went through it without real bad setbacks. You know what I mean? And you'll read that sometimes with fret on the feathers, the little creases, the crinks in the feathers. But not these two. They're bang, spot, right on. And you guys want pigeons that can handle a lot of shit. These two can.
Absolutely.
I think that sums it up pretty well there, Ryan.
Well, no, I have to be honest.
I agree with you 150%. To survive what they went through this past racing season and then come out on top and prize winners and still be there to tell the tale, kudos to those two. I'm telling you, incredible. And yeah, I was going to make mention, Ryan did have a clean shirt on before we started the broadcast, and just take a look at that. It looks like you took, those chalkboard erasers and you banged them out on his shirt. Now, what is that showing you guys? What is it showing?
The plume, the feather quality, these birds have it. Look what they did to a clean shirt. Clean shirt, 10 pigeons. I have to send Leah. Please send Dan my cleaning bill. You know how, hey, this is a secret, guys. If you go to Dan's place and this shirt comes out, your shirt comes out like this, fold it up nicely. Don't throw it in your bag. Take it home and rub your pigeons on it. You're gonna get better feather quality. Dan, this has been a fun little adventure here.
Absolutely.
We had to change up how we did it. Hopefully the audience likes it. Yesterday's show got a little cocked up, but that's okay. We switch always on the fly. I want to thank you for putting this together.
Absolutely.
And guys, he's going to beat you.
I'm going to try. There's a lot of good flyers.
It's proven in life that history will repeat itself. He will win the AU. He will win another IF convention. He's going to win another big one. And guys, if you're coming to the Pioneer Youngbird race and you're coming to beat this man, he's coming to win it. There's nothing more that he would rather do than have you kick his ass with his own pigeons.
Absolutely.
I am done, Leah.
And I just wanted to just really take the time to thank Dan so much. Dan, out of all the breeders that I've worked with over the last 3 years, you are probably the most non-commercial commercial guy that I've worked with. You're so humble, and I just think it's so cute because you're such a champion at the one lofting and the convention races, and you've won a ton of money, but you're literally the most humble guy ever. And you kind of see it in the pedigrees, and that's why I thought we have to get you on the show so you can tell everybody just how incredible these 10 lots are and the little history behind them. And it's nice to see you tooting your own horn for once, because I think you absolutely deserve it. We hope it has helped with potential buyers, giving them a little more insight, a little more information, not only on these lots, but on Dan himself as a person and as a flyer. It's really been a pleasure working with you, and we wish the bidders good luck, and I wish you good luck, Dan, in your breeding season, in your racing season coming up. Really, the best of luck. It's been a pleasure. Thank you very much.
Well, you know what? That's very kind, guys. It's nice to work with you. You guys have been nothing but top notch, and you know, I really hope the best for these birds and the people do well with them, because you know, without you know, when you send it, you know, people buy your birds, you send out a little bit, you make a new friend. And you know, I love when people call me. I love talking on the phone. I love talking about pigeons. You know, pigeons are my life, and you know, they were the same with my father. I mean, this house is a pigeon home, and all my best friends are the pigeon guys. So you know, I just wish everybody good luck, and again, thank you, class act, class job, and you know, we'll be talking to you guys soon.
Hey, no problem. Remember, guys, these birds are ready to pair up. You hear the cocks groaning. They're ready to go. They're ready to go to convention races, band races, one-loft races. Dan's given the stamp of approval. I know he'll continue to be at the top. This won't be our last go with Dan. We're going to keep working with him because it's a lot of fun, and he puts out a hell of a product. Good luck, Dan, in this coming season. Good luck to the buyers, the bidders. If you lose, hey, just bid a little higher. These are the birds, guys. We stand behind them. He stands behind them. Good luck with them. That's it.
Thank
We're
you,
done,
guys.
Leah. Hey, thank you, Dan. Thanks for flying with us. Remember, this auction closes Tuesday, 8 p.m. Eastern Standard. That means New York time. All bids are in Canadian dollars. Shipping throughout the United States is absolutely free. Thanks for flying with us, guys. We're going to wrap this up. Bye for now.